Welcome to the Spring 2018 class of WMBA 6110, Strategic Management, Discussion 4 on Business Strategy. This presentation has been prepared by Team Gold, which consists of Kristen Gannis, Derek Glaze, Sarah Rose Harrell, Maurice Sanders, Jonathan Stein, and Garrett Zip. I'm Maurice Sanders, and I will be taking you through the presentation. Our presentation will cover the discussion topics identified by Dr. Russo, and much of it will cover concepts from our strategic management textbook. Along the left side of your screen, you will see the outline that we will be following. This is the overview. As we discuss business strategy, Dr. Russo has centered much of our discussion around Tesla Motors. By now, the class should be very familiar with Tesla Motors, their mission, and one of its founders, Elon Musk. To help aid our discussion, we captured a quote from Elon Musk to provide some perspective on the company. In the article, The Secret Tesla Motors Master Plan, just between you and me, he shares the master plan of Tesla Motors, which is to build a sports car, use that money to build an affordable car, use that money to build an even more affordable car, and while doing the above, also provide zero-emission electric power generation options. But he says not to tell anyone, though. This was written in 2006, and it closely aligns with their mission statement. As we discuss the business strategy around Tesla Motors, we can compare it to see how it supports their achieving this master plan. Before we begin covering our discussion topics, there are 4 main resource materials that were provided by Dr. Russo to facilitate our discussion. The first is Chapter 6 from our textbook. This chapter is titled Business Strategy and covers business level strategy, differentiation strategy, cost leadership strategy, business level strategy, and the 5 forces, blue ocean strategy, and implications of the strategist. The second resource is the Tesla Motors case study. This study begins with the creation of the company in 2003 and the mission of the company, discusses the challenges that exist today, and talks about how Tesla can be successful moving forward. The next resource is the article by R.A. Aventi titled Mapping Your Competitive Position. This article explains how a price-benefit positioning map can provide an understanding of how your product compares with the competitors within the market. The last resource is the article titled Blue Ocean Strategy by Kim Ann Maborgne. This article also has a supplemental YouTube video. In both the article and the video, the authors provide their observations based on reviewing over 150 blue ocean creations over 30 industries. We will cite additional resource materials throughout our presentations, but these represent the initial material that was used to facilitate our discussion. The discussion topics were provided by Dr. Russo. We had 3 topics to research and include within our presentation. The first topic was around business level strategy and asked us to identify Tesla's business level strategy. The second topic was around value drivers, cost drivers, and value innovations, and asked the questions, what are Tesla's most important value drivers, cost drivers, value innovations? The last topic is around strategic position and asked us to map Tesla's and competitors' strategic positions on a positioning map, and then to comment on how this map is likely evolved over the last decade. Over the next several slides, we will review and provide a response to each of these. When managers articulate their business level strategy, they respond to the who, what, why, and how queries of competition. Differentiation and cost leadership are the 2 fundamentally different business tactics. A differentiation strategy is an approach under which a firm aims to develop and market unique products for different customer segments. A cost leadership strategy involves marketing your company as the cheapest source for a good or service. Where a company decides to fall within these 2 generic business strategies on cost and differentiation forms their strategic position. Beyond that decision, a company must determine their scope of competition. They must determine if they will focus on a targeted part of the market or go after a larger market. Once the company has set the firm's strategic position with the scope of competition, the company's business level strategy can be established. If we take a look at our capstone project, the CapSim Guide offers 6 basic business strategies: a broad cost leader, a broad differentiator, a niche cost leader around low technology with a niche differentiator around high technology with a cost leader with product lifecycle focus, a differentiator with product lifecycle focus that we can take these 6 strategies and plot them on the competitive scope versus strategic position chart to see where they would fall. In the instance of Tesla, their initial strategy would appear to be a focused differentiation strategy, but their overall master plan for the company has been a blue ocean strategy. The blue ocean strategy is discussed in greater detail within the supplemental resource article titled Blue Ocean Strategy by Kim and Maborgne. This is where a company creates a value innovation based on a combination of differentiation and cost leadership strategic positions. We will discuss more about Tesla's value innovation and how it has factored into their blue ocean strategy later in the presentation. One note to make is that in our initial discussion on strategy overview, we discussed the importance of a mission and the overall company focus. At Tesla, this has formed their blue ocean business strategy and provided the foundation for them to establish a competitive advantage. As we start to talk about value drivers, cost drivers, and value innovation, let's begin with some definitions. Value driver: any addition that increases the perceived value of goods and services in the mind of the consumer so they are willing to pay a higher price. Cost driver: any aspect of a product or service that increases the capital required to be able to make or deliver to the consumer. Value innovation: aligning innovation with total perceived consumer benefits, price, and cost. Now we will discuss how each are relatable to Tesla. Tesla stands out in the automotive industry for embracing energy efficiency rather than despise it as many automotive makers do, and this created a value driver for their company. Much of this disdain felt in the industry was driven by the corporate average fuel economy, or CAFE, standards that Congress passed as an effort to lower dependence on foreign oil. California put additional pressure on car makers when they passed the mandate for zero-emission vehicles. This set the stage for Tesla Motors. With the creation of demand for zero-emission vehicles, California was the perfect place to launch a fully electric car company. This was a very abnormal concept for the automotive industry, as most manufacturers were focused on building hybrid electric vehicles, or HEV. HEVs were more popular in the industry because the technology was easier to develop because it used both a combustion motor and electric motors. Even then, it's estimated that many car makers never recouped their research costs and instead used these vehicles as show vehicles. While this was a challenge, fully electric vehicles had some very powerful advantages. For example, the electric motor has a much higher torque over a much wider range of speeds than conventional motors. Another big advantage of these motors is they have relatively few working parts in comparison to a conventional combustion engine and drivetrain. Most importantly, though, was the fact that electric vehicles would not produce any emissions while operating. With the clean energy movement growing rapidly throughout the world, being the cleanest and most efficient car on the road created a considerable value to the customer. Tesla has been able to increase the perceived value of their products to the point where consumers have begun willing to pay a higher price to obtain them. Tesla decided to go fully electric, which meant it would have to develop the technology and the battery to make long-range travel feasible amongst a handful of other challenges. After having developed the technology, another difficult barrier would have to be crossed. This was the most significant initial cost driver for Tesla. It is likely the reason for what has kept many of the large automotive manufacturers from pursuing electric vehicles. Where would all of these batteries be produced? There did not exist a massive battery plant which could supply a large automotive maker with enough battery capacity. Additionally, the batteries would be the most expensive part of the car and would greatly increase its price. To solve both of these problems, Tesla decided to leverage the concept of economies of scale and build a massive 980-acre, 5 billion battery plant of their own, in which would solve the capacity issues while simultaneously lowering the cost. Another way in which Tesla attempted to overcome the incredible expense of the battery was to leverage a considerable amount of government subsidy for clean energy initiatives. As of January 2013, there was approximately $7,500 in tax rebates for a purchase of their vehicle. By developing a fully electric vehicle, Tesla developed a cost driver due to the increased capital required to deliver its product to the consumer. It is clear that Tesla's strategy falls within the category of a blue ocean strategy. Blue ocean strategy happens when a leap in value is accomplished for both the buyers and the company itself, and the most important feature of this strategy is the rejection of conventional thought and safety. Tesla's concept was based on scientific design of a car rather than convention, and this formed its innovation strategy. Through the study of physics, a person can clearly see that electric vehicles are vastly superior to conventional automotive technology in nearly every single aspect possible. With these incredible performance characteristics in mind, Elon Musk correctly decided that the first cars that Tesla would produce would be performance vehicles. Tesla successfully created vehicles with performance similar or greater than that of the high-end market for automobiles such as Porsche. Tesla was also able to control the cost of the production of their vehicles through economies of scale and government subsidies produced from the green energy movement. By doing so, Tesla was able to both simultaneously differentiate their product and lower costs at the same time. This is an excellent example of value innovation and the driver of Tesla's blue ocean strategy. Following this concept, Tesla and their incredible electric vehicles have transformed the automotive industry's perception on the feasibility and potentially of a fully electric automotive future. Strategic positioning can be represented on a positioning map. Positioning maps are very useful tools that graphically illustrate products in a competitive market. Richard Diavini from Harvard Business Review defines positioning maps as a price-benefit map that shows the relationship between the primary benefit that a product provides to customers and the prices of all the product in a given market. To create the map, 3 steps are to be followed. 1. Define the market. 2. Choose the price and determine the primary benefit. 3. Plot positionings and draw the expected price line. Whether it's the Tesla S, X, or 3, the primary benefit of a Tesla is its technology capabilities. Consumers want advanced features in their cars now, and Tesla is doing just that. Business Insiders has identified the technologies listed below as those that consumers want in their vehicles. For the positioning map, the primary benefit that will be evaluated is the technology used in the powertrain, and for electric vehicles that is quantified by their mileage. As stated by Thompson, electrified cars are gaining serious momentum. Concerns about climate change along with advancement in battery technology has helped push automakers to get into the electric car game. Below is the breakdown of the current all-electric sedans for sale today. This map has evolved drastically over the last decade and even more so over the last 4 decades. Electric cars started coming up in small numbers in the 1970s with the BMW 1602E with a range of 37 miles and a max speed of 62 miles per hour. 20 years later, GM started producing the EV1 with a range of 100 miles but never reached mass production and brought back all of the leased EV1s. Tesla came into the market in 2006 with the creation of the 240-mile Roadster, but the hefty $100,000 price tag prevented mass success. Finally, in 2010, Nissan released the first of its best-selling electric vehicle, the Leaf. The first model had a range of 100 miles and a $30,000 price tag. The evolution occurring over the last 40 years with electric vehicles has been consumer-driven and fueled by technology improvements. With climate change and constant improvements to battery technology, electric vehicles can be produced with increased range, improved technology, and lower costs than they could have been 10 years ago. As technology continues to improve and manufacturing techniques perfected, costs will continue to drop, making electric more and more promising and lucrative. Tesla's Gigafactory has already been able to drastically reduce the cost of manufacturing batteries by 35% in only a couple of years and is expected to only get better. These changes will improve the electric vehicle value proposition on the positioning map and continue to put pressure on gas use and vehicle production. Over the course of the presentation, we have addressed three primary topics on business strategy. We reviewed business level strategies and identified the Tesla's business level strategy as a blue ocean strategy. We reviewed value drivers, cost drivers, value innovations. As part of this, we covered Tesla's value driver from embracing energy efficiency and producing a fully electric vehicle, its cost driver around the investment in manufacturing resources to support the battery requirements for its product, and its value innovation by both simultaneously differentiating its product and lowering its costs at the same time. Lastly, we reviewed strategic position. We mapped Tesla and its competitors' strategic positions on a positioning map, and then commented on how this map has likely evolved over the last decade. In researching each of the topics, there is a clear association with each back to the master plan that had been communicated by Elon Musk back in 2006. Accessible within our online discussion board are 6 questions that relate back to the discussion topics and the content covered within our presentation. Listed below are the works cited throughout the presentation.